Welcome back to the channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Today I'm going to be focusing on Qatar Airways with the resumption of flights to an important city. Starlux wants to join an alliance, but which one? Stay tuned. And Emirates has been fined by the United States. That's where obviously I want to begin, with the sum in the region of USD 1.8 million by the US Department of Transportation, or DOT, following a breach in the type of flights operated by the Middle Eastern airline. But there are a couple of twists and turns in why this fine has been handed down, so let me begin. The fines follow flights in regions that are off limits to US airlines, where JetBlue, a US-based carrier and its previous partner of Emirates, was able to sell seats for prospective passengers on, which meant Emirates was liable to the regulations. JetBlue and Emirates' previous arrangement took shape through codeshare services. JetBlue basically allowed its passengers to book onward travel with Emirates, enabling not only greater connectivity across North America for both companies, but also the Middle East. While these codeshare partnerships, like I said, enable customers to say book with JetBlue and then travel to the Middle East, obviously they will not be flying aboard a JetBlue aircraft for the entirety of their journey. Maybe it will only be for the first leg. When the flights are put under a microscope, you'll know that they are operated aboard Emirates aircraft, but someone aboard may have been booked onto a JetBlue ticket. Flights occurred over an almost year-long period, starting in December of 2021 and concluding in August 2022. That timeframe important, as I'll dive into a little bit later. And during this period, Emirates saw its flights pass over Iraq when flying between its home of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates and destinations in the United States, which on the surface seems okay, but it's not. Interestingly, this is also not the first time that Emirates had been fined for something similar. In 2020, it did something just like this and was subsequently punished. At the time, the airline said it wouldn't do such a thing again, only for that to happen a year later. But why are Emirates being fined? This is because the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, prohibits US airlines from flying over Iraq at less than 32,000 feet. These restrictions have been implemented to ensure the safety of all those aboard aircraft. However, alarm bells might be ringing. Hang on a second, prohibiting US airlines. Well, Emirates isn't one, but Emirates was having codeshare benefits extending to JetBlue customers, them being a US airline, and they were found to have not complied with this. The Dubai-based airline said that its flights were always intended to stay above the 32,000 feet requirement. However, this was not possible in these cases because of instances when they received orders from air traffic controllers to divert their path, or potentially also change altitude. For the two airlines, flights found to have breached airspace regulations concluded in August of 2022, and you'll recall a little bit earlier in this segment, I said that date was important. Why? Because some 2 months later, in October of the same year, Emirates and JetBlue would actually formally end their codeshare partnership. Over to the next story. Starlux, a Taiwanese luxury carrier, has expressed ambitions to eventually join the oneworld alliance, which would be a big move for the airline. The carrier's chairman confirmed its plans at a shareholder meeting, which, if proceeded with, would mean another airline in Taiwan would be joining a mega alliance. Eva Air is already part of the Star Alliance, and Starlux is looking to compete with this airline quite considerably in terms of its routes, especially when focusing on service towards the United States. Away from Eva Air, it also is looking to compete with major US carriers, and when we dig deeper into that, take a look at United Airlines, part of Star Alliance. Moreover, we also have to consider Delta, who are part of SkyTeam, and in a similar fashion to China Airlines, who are also. Flights from Asia to the West Coast are hotly contested, and Starlux joining the One World Alliance at some point in the future could see greater long-term benefits regarding not just connectivity for its customers, but as a business overall, probably greater stability. Starlux, however, before moving forward with formally joining oneworld, will do its due diligence in assessing all available options, and despite doing this, oneworld already seems like the favourite, and most likely will formulate into something firm. When considering that Starlux is also already in collaboration with oneworld member Alaska Airlines for connectivity cooperation across North America, enhancing this further by actually having a oneworld membership seems logical, and from this, more options would become available, with joining forces at other airlines to boost its overall global reach. The airline said it had been in discussions with several alliances at the recently concluded IATA annual general meeting. These meetings provide fantastic platforms for airlines and aviation companies to come together to discuss the future of air travel, potentially make announcements, or at least begin that long pathway to a formal announcement that should be mutually beneficial. Over the next 2 years, we can expect Starlux to pursue plans to enter an alliance formally. This timeframe reaffirmed by the chairman. The company sees many benefits to such a move. The China Times reported the chairman of Starlux leads from the front with the view of joining an alliance, but also the matter has been discussed internally. Furthermore, those internal discussions have produced nothing but positive results. oneworld recently formally added Fiji Airways to its expansive network of airlines and could now see Starlux as the perfect means to enhance connectivity across Asia, focusing on services across North America and the West Coast from this region. No decision or action is expected in the short term, I've got to reiterate that, and much is left to ponder on the side of Starlux as they consider their future in the aviation industry. On to the final story. Qatar Airways has officially resumed service to Venice in Italy, marking an essential step in its European network recovery. Service recommenced between Hamad International Airport in Doha and Venice Marco Polo. Venice will now join many other destinations that make up over 170 locations. However, the airline's European network has been ever growing, with the most recent resumption to Lisbon just a couple of weeks ago. Venice joins Milan and Rome in Italy, and becomes the third city to which Qatar Airways serves in this country. Daily flights will be offered between Doha and Venice, with a 9 a.m. departure from Doha and therefore a 2:20 p.m. arrival into Venice. Qatar Airways will be utilizing its 787 Dreamliner, very similar to the recently recommenced Lisbon service as well. Qatar Airways notes that Venice is an incredibly popular destination for tourists and is also an opportunity for people to reconnect with long-lost families and just generally see families and friends while soaking in all the available cultures that are there. Furthermore, Qatar Airways says that those flying from Venice through to Doha will be able to experience all that Qatar has to offer. And if you're looking onwards, well, that incredible network will be available. By traveling to Qatar Airways' hub, customers can access daily flights to ports right across the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and the Oceania region, among much more. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. Thank you very much for the support here on the channel. It is certainly appreciated. Please take care, be safe. I'll see you at midnight local time here in Australia, or whatever time that is for you that these videos go live. There'll be another one of these aviation news recaps. And we'll fly.